Last night, your brain may have created an entire world. People you have not seen in years. Places that do not exist. A story that felt real while you were inside it. Fear, love, confusion, flying, falling, running, talking to someone who should not be alive anymore. And then a few seconds after waking up, it was gone. Not slowly, not politely. Gone. You can feel that something happened, but you cannot reach it. You remember one image, one face, one strange emotion, and then even that begins to disappear. Like your own mind is deleting evidence before you can look at it. Which raises a strange question. Why do we forget our dreams? Because the weirdest part is not that we forget some dreams. The weirdest part is that we probably forget most of them. Every night your brain keeps working. It does not shut off like a machine. It changes states. It moves through cycles. Deep sleep, lighter sleep, REM sleep, then back again. And during many of those stages, especially REM sleep, your brain can produce dreams. Not just random pictures, full experiences. Scenes with movement, emotion, sound, people, danger, desire, memory, and impossible logic. And yet by morning, most of it is missing. So what happened? Where did those dreams go? The answer begins with a simple but uncomfortable fact. Your brain is not built to remember everything. Memory is not a camera. It is not a perfect recording device. It is more like a survival system, with limited space, limited attention, and very strict rules about what deserves to stay. During the day, your brain is constantly choosing. This matters. This does not. This might hurt me. This might help me. This is new. This is boring. This should become a memory. This can disappear. Most of your waking life is also forgotten. You do not remember every step you took yesterday, every wall you looked at, every random sound in the background, every movement of your hands. Your brain throws away huge amounts of life because keeping all of it would be useless. Dreams face the same problem, but they have an even bigger disadvantage. They happen while the brain is in a strange state. When you are awake, the brain systems that help form stable memories are more coordinated. The hippocampus helps connect pieces of experience. The prefrontal cortex helps organize reality, attention, and logic. Certain brain chemicals support alertness and memory formation. But during dreaming, especially REM sleep, the rules change. The emotional parts of the brain can become highly active. Visual areas can light up, old memories can be pulled apart and recombined. But the parts of the brain that help you check reality and organize memories are not working the same way they do when you are awake. That is why dreams can feel completely normal while you are inside them. You can be in your childhood home, but it is also a school, but it is also an airport. And somehow, your old teacher is there holding a fish and telling you that you are late for a wedding. And instead of saying, "This makes no sense," your dreaming brain says, "Yes, continue." Because the part of you that normally questions reality is turned down. The dream feels real, but it is not being filed like a real event. That is one reason dreams vanish so fast. They are intense experiences created in a brain state that is not ideal for long-term storage. It is like writing something important on fogged glass. For a moment it is there, then the temperature changes, and the message disappears. But there is another reason. To remember something, you usually need to wake up at the right moment. If you wake up during a dream, or right after one, you have a much better chance of remembering it. That is why some dreams feel fresh when you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night. The dream is still close to the surface. The image is still warm. The emotion is still attached. But if you keep sleeping, your brain moves into another stage. The dream does not get carried cleanly into waking memory. Another sleep cycle comes. Another dream begins. Another layer covers the last one. By morning, the dream may still have happened, but you no longer have access to it. This is why people often say, "I never dream." But most of the time that is probably not true. They dream. They just do not wake up at the right time to catch the dream before it sinks. Dream recall is partly about timing. Some people naturally wake up more during the night. They may remember more dreams because their brain gets more chances to transfer dream fragments into waking memory. Other people sleep through dream-heavy periods and wake up only after the dream has already dissolved. So forgetting dreams does not mean your brain is empty at night. It may mean your sleep is simply too smooth to leave many dream memories behind, which is almost annoying. The better you sleep, the less proof you may have that your brain was busy producing its private cinema. But memory is not only about timing, it is also about attention. When you wake up and immediately grab your phone, check messages, think about work, stand up, talk, or start moving, the dream has almost no chance. The waking world floods in. Light, sound, tasks, notifications, your name, your problems, the rent, the group chat, the human disaster calendar resumes, and the dream gets pushed out. Because dream memories are fragile, they often need attention immediately. If you wake up and stay still for a few seconds, the dream may remain. If you think about it, replay it, write it down, or say it out loud, you give it a chance to become a waking memory. But if you move too fast, the dream disappears. Not because it was meaningless, because it was never strongly stored. There is also a deeper possibility. Maybe forgetting dreams is not a flaw. Maybe it is part of the system. During sleep, the brain is not just resting. It is sorting, strengthening some connections, weakening others, processing emotions, testing memories, mixing old pieces of experience with new ones. Dreams may be one visible side effect of that process, a strange theater built from memory fragments, a place where the brain runs simulations without asking your permission, because apparently even sleep needed management. But if every dream became a strong memory, your mind might become crowded with fake experiences. Imagine remembering every dream with the same weight as real life. Did you actually argue with your friend, or did you dream it? Did you really lose your phone? Or did your brain invent that panic at 4 a.m.? Did that conversation happen? Or was it just your sleeping mind rehearsing fear? Reality would become harder to trust. So the brain may keep dreams in a temporary space, useful for emotion, useful for processing, useful for internal cleanup, but not always useful to keep. In that sense, forgetting dreams may protect the border between what happened and what was imagined. Dreams are experiences, but they are not always memories. They are mental weather. They pass through the brain, change the atmosphere, and then vanish before morning can ask too many questions. Still, some dreams survive, usually the ones with emotion. Fear makes memories stronger. Surprise makes memories stronger. Grief, desire, shame, danger, love, and shock can all make a dream harder to erase. That is why nightmares are often easier to remember than ordinary dreams. A nightmare wakes you up with your heart racing, your body reacts, your attention snaps on. The dream crosses the border into waking life before it can disappear. This is also why dreams about people you miss can stay with you. The dream may not make sense as a story, but the emotion feels real, and emotion is one of the strongest glue systems memory has. A normal dream fades. An emotional dream leaves a mark. But even then, the mark can change. Dream memory is not stable. When you remember a dream, you may be rebuilding it, not replaying it perfectly. You grab a few fragments and your waking brain tries to make them into a story. This is why dreams often sound more logical when we explain them than they actually felt. We wake up with broken pieces. Then the waking mind becomes a scriptwriter. It adds order. It connects scenes. It says, first this happened, then this happened. But the real dream may have been stranger, more fragmented, less linear. So even the dreams you remember may not be exactly what you dreamed. They are translations. Night language turned into morning language. And something is always lost in translation. This is what makes dreaming so strange. Your brain can create a world strong enough to make you feel terror, happiness, or longing, but weak enough to disappear when the alarm rings. It can make people who are gone feel present again. It can make impossible places feel familiar. It can make nonsense feel like truth. Then it lets the whole thing evaporate. And maybe that is because dreams were never meant to be stored the way real life is stored. Maybe they are not messages carved in stone. Maybe they are sparks, temporary patterns. The brain testing itself in the dark, taking pieces of your past, your fears, your memories, your body, your emotions, and throwing them into a private simulation. Not because every dream has a hidden meaning, not because every dream is a prophecy, but because the sleeping brain is still alive, still sorting, still feeling, still trying to make sense of being you. So why do we forget our dreams? Because dreams are built in a brain state where memory is unstable. Because the systems that create the dream are not the same as the systems that carefully save waking life. Because if you do not wake up at the right moment, the dream sinks back into sleep. Because morning arrives too fast. Because attention moves on. Because the brain cannot keep everything. And maybe because it should not. A dream is one of the strangest things your mind can make. A world with no physical space. A story with no author. A memory that often fails to become a memory. For a few minutes it exists. You live inside it, you believe it, you react to it. Then you wake up and your brain quietly takes it away. Not because nothing happened, but because something happened in a place memory cannot easily reach. And that may be the most haunting part. Every morning, you may wake up from entire worlds you will never know you visited. People you met and lost, stories that ended without an audience, emotions that passed through you and left almost no trace. Your dreams are not always gone because they were empty. They are gone because the brain is selective, because sleep has its own rules, because the mind can create more than it can carry into morning. So the next time you wake up with only one strange image left, hold on to it for a second. That tiny fragment may be the last surviving piece of a world your brain built in the dark. And by the time you stand up, even that world may already be disappearing. If you enjoy learning interesting science without boring lectures, subscribe. There's much more ahead.